two guys tried to get into my room last night.
Wow.
And he's saying, I don't think they were coming for my laptop. They were there for other things. So there's that as well. So we'll be chatting to him. So lots to talk about on the program this afternoon. 6 prisoners on the run this afternoon, or sort of finding out when prisoners go on the run, what do the police do? What do you actually do? Do you get the dogs out?
They need to watch
Helicopter?
Prison Break and see what they need to do.
And just examine them for tattoos.
Yes.
And, just be careful with that one. They use them to escape, you see. And that's what's coming up this afternoon.
702 Drive with Ray White standing in for John Pillman from 3 to 6 p.m.
It's Friday.
And that means it's 702 Unplugged.
702 Unplugged. It is a Friday, so this is the opportunity we get to lay back and relax and enjoy some amazing music. Today, we are speaking to Joburg-based blues rock musician Ross Harding. That is his stage name. Welcome to the show, Ross. Thank you so much for joining us. Ross? Hi, Ross. Okay, we seem to be having a problem with getting Ross there. But what I can tell you about Ross is that this is not his first project. He actually had formed a blues rock band called Black Harbour back in 2017 with fellow musician and friend Kevin Hughes. And they made local and international progress just performing, touring, and recording with that band. And since then, he's focused on his career as a solo musician, performing both as a solo acoustic artist as well as with his full band. His debut solo record, Rest and Resurrection, is scheduled for release, or was scheduled for release last year. And the great thing about Resurrection is that it was aptly named that first single from their debut release as a solo artist. And Resurrection is really about rebellion, change, and rebirth of oneself for the better. Let's see if we've got our guest. Ross, hi.
Hi.
How are you doing? Yay, we can hear each other.
So good. Yeah, there we go.
Fantastic.
I'm so good. And yourself?
I am great. So how did the stage name Harding come about?
My surname is actually Van den Heefer, which gets confused often. So I decided to dive into my family history, and my grandmother was a literary critic.
Yes.
Involved with like newspaper and publishings, and that kind of stuck with me. I studied literature. I've always been a massive fan of the written word, and so Harding just kind of seemed like something that rolled off the tongue a little bit easier than Van den Heefer.
Yes.
I get Van der Merwe and Van Wyk and all sorts, and I thought, okay, let's create a bit of a stage persona,
Harding has like a star quality thing about it.
Thank you.
It really does. It really does. So talk to me about, how did your journey change switching from being a part of a band to going solo, because there is that group thing that happens when you are playing in a group versus now being on your own, where that collaboration is no longer there.
Look, I think that in many aspects, being a solo artist has allowed me certain leniencies that I may not have been able to get away with, so to speak, in a band. But also, there's a limit of constraint and limitation that's taken away. In other words, if you're in the band environment as a group, there's a collective that's guiding a project. And what we saw with COVID and all kinds of things is that people live very different lives. And it's not always easy to navigate through the environment when one is dealing with individuals. So the transition to doing it on my own meant that creative control and the sort of responsibility of the project is on me, and it makes it easier to run. However, having said that, it still acts as a kind of band in the sense that it's musicians that play live with me. I've got a phenomenal band. The guys that I'm making music with are extremely talented musicians, and so that still comes across without perhaps any of the the egos and the other kind of thing that gets in the way of the traditional band environment.
Creative differences.
Yeah. That's a better. You've used a better euphemism than I was able to come up with.
So, what should people expect from your sound, and what messaging is the main messaging that you share with this project?
Look, I'm a rock and roller at heart, so I think that my music is edgy and bluesy and guitar driven, and in that landscape, I've tended to gravitate towards lyrical content that is catharsis. I think that's the main thing. I never want somebody to listen to something that I've written and feel worse than before.
Yes.
You know, there's something about purging, and being rock music, I suppose it does have that sense of energy and aggression at times. But I try to get it through in a more healthy way, a more positive kind of way to deal with tense emotions, you know. So that's kind of the crux of the sound, I would say, and the vibe.
And what would you say, what space were you at emotionally when you were actually creating some of these songs?
It's a little bit of a complex question to answer because they actually come from very different times. So the songs Rest and Resurrection, which are the title track of the EP, those seem to kind of sum up what was happening at the time that I was putting it together, at least more structurally. But a song like Cigarettes and Whiskey has been with me for 6 or 7 years, and it's fine. You sort of come around finally to a place where I felt this is what I wanted to sound like. This is how we're going to capture it in the studio, and this will be the sort of end of the road, if you will, for that chapter or that song. You know, this is where we present it. So it's difficult to answer very directly. I think that it has different elements of myself as an artist and of bands that I've been in, for that matter, with influences coming around. And I think that's why this EP is so important in that sense, because it does give the listener a bit more of a broader dynamic into my sound and influence, as opposed to something that was very sort of time stamped. You know, if we worked on something at a particular time and it has that sort of flavor, this is it's almost sort of stitched together from different chapters of my musical career.
Ross Harding, I'm looking forward to your sounds and your music, and that will be coming up straight after this.
By the time this ad is done, you'll have 30 seconds less to invest. 20 seconds less to enjoy that dream beach vacation like the 20-year-old who still lives in your mind. 10 seconds less to live your best life for 10 years more. So, what are you waiting for? Good things come to those who don't wait to invest. Start today. Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
Child, and I'll wash the pain away. Still your mind in the waters of the rain. Rest now, mother, I made it all the way till my father, the black will fade. Till my father, the black will fade. Rest now, son, and I'll take the pain from you until your daughters, the fire shining through. Rest now, mother, all the way. Tell my father the black will fade. Tell my father the black will fade. Rest now, child. The black will fade. Eyes of fire light the way. Strength now, child. Made it all the way. Tell my father the black will fade. Tell my father the black will fade. Oh. Rest now, child. The black will fade. Eyes of fire light the way. Strength now, child. You've made it all the way. Tell my father the black will fade. Tell my father Tell my father Tell my father black will fade. Will fade. I feel the water running red. The soul's painted black, but no, it still ain't dead. I feel the fire come to glance. The birth that breathes in me. The tide is changing with the moon. The snake circle is bringing me to you now, and I can finally use the stone. I feel immortal. Let it go. Pour the blood. Let it go. Yeah, the fire comes out of the sun until I let it go. Out now from the darkness of the tombs, just like the dust from bones of catacombs, I feel the fire come to me. I feel the birth it breathes, it breathes. Let it go. Pour the blood, let it go now. Yeah, the fire comes out of the water. I walk into the sun until I let, until I let it, until I let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Yeah. Let it go. Until I let it go. Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Don't you mind people grinning in your face? Bear with this in mind, the true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind the people grinning in your face? You know your mother wouldn't talk about you, your own sisters and brothers too. They don't care you're trying to live. They talk about you still. Bear what's in mind. The true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind the people grinning in your face? You know your mother will talk about you, your own sisters and brothers too. They don't care how you're trying to live. They talk about you still. Bear what's in mind. A true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind the people grinning in your veins? Don't you mind? Don't you mind? Ooh. grinning in your face. Embarrassed in mine, a true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind? Don't you mind? I'm grinning in your face.
702.
More than a radio station.
Let's